The only unbeaten side in the Premier League remain the only unbeaten side in the Premier League. I'm not going to sit here and insult your intelligence and tell you that that was pretty or anything like that, but it was enough. The City have won 1-0 today against Southampton, and I'm happy about that. I actually am. I came to not a realisation, but I watched that game and I watched it with a different perspective than usual, and it's taken a little bit of time for me to adapt to it, and I feel like it's painful to do it. But my expectations have sort of slightly shifted for what I expect from this City side. I still expect him to win pretty much every single week, but I expect it to be more difficult. And for the reasons that will go into this video, I think it's harder these days for City, given the current squad build-up and given the lack of certain players' involvement. So I don't think we played bad. I don't think we were great. I think we were decent. I think the application was hard. I think the work rate was good. And I think we did basically pretty much we could to get the 3 points. And on another day, that could have been a comfortable 3 or 4-0 win. Haaland had a whole bunch of chances. He probably should have had 2 or 3 himself. And it would have been a comfortable game. Look, the only thing that really matters is right now is getting those victories. As you can see, City currently sit at the top of the table, 23 points unbeaten. Liverpool, Arsenal tomorrow. You know, if the average side drops points there, it'd be welcome tomorrow. Hopefully Liverpool will drop points. You know, a draw would be really good to put us top of the table. Despite 6 key players out right now, it would be really useful, you know, to City to have a little bit of a lead, a little bit of a buffer, so to speak, you know. That puts 5 points clear of Arsenal as well if they get a point tomorrow. That'd be very nice as well. So fingers crossed that happens. I think it was decent. Look, in years gone, we would have probably... Weirdly, actually, it's funny. I was about to say in years gone, we might have won that 4 or 5-0. But also, Danny just raised a good point in the chat. In years gone, we might have had more draws and losses. We might have done it at the start of the season. We actually would do. So weirdly better in some ways and not as good in others. Maybe not quite as creatively brilliant, but also at the same time, we're probably a little bit more stoic and stubborn, which is probably a reason why we're getting through this, which I quite like. The mentality is good. Because I personally do prescribe to the theory that the Premier League's a really high level, and anyone can beat anyone, and we're looking, and in general, it's a hard league. I think teams are well organised and well structured, and even though Southampton have been struggling, they're a really organised, well-managed side. They are. They don't have Manchester City level players, but they're not a bad side. They are just not a bad side, and I can't buy into that. Super chat from Danny. Thank you so much, mate. Super chats are more than welcome. Get your thoughts in via comments. Super chats always, they help support the channel, and you know it's very much appreciated. I'll get to it in a minute. I can't actually scroll down to it, Danny, because there's not enough comments yet. Someone just spam some comments. I'll do it. I should be able to scroll down to it now. I need more comments still so I can scroll down it. Spam. There we go. Oh, no, I can't reach it for some reason. I need to sort of move the box out of the way. Let me just sort that out, mate. There we go. There we go, Danny. I've sorted it out for you. I wanted to show you super chat on the screen. There we go. Danny said, we definitely didn't play bad. Sometimes that's footy. I agree with that. I prescribe to that. Nunes, I thought, played well again. Yes, we didn't finish chances, but shit happens. I sort of agree with that. I thought that was fine. We need to do better. And I think there's something in the idea that, you know, we could do with more goals from the rest of the team. I think that's a very fair comment. But we did okay. The application was fine. The work rate was decent. So why am I not that bothered about that? Why am I relaxed about it? I'll tell you right now. I'm sorry for the spamming, by the way. That was me, because I couldn't fit it on screen, so I needed more comments. Ignore that in the chat. No more spamming. Thanks, EAH Edits. That's good. I thought we did okay today. I don't think anyone had a bad game. Maybe Haaland probably would have been a bit frustrated. My general view is that we've got an injury crisis. So when you go to the actual lineup, let's have a look. I'll bring the lineup up once again. The lineup sort of picked itself today. Gundogan's not been the best form. He needed a rest. So Kovacic came in. You could have had Ake maybe there or John Stones, but the rest of the team pretty much picked itself. You know, McAtee wasn't going to start. John Stones, Gundogan, as we just discussed. Ake, O'Reilly wasn't going to start. A team picked itself, basically. And when I look at that side and we look at City at the very best, you look at the players that are missing, like Oscar Bob is a genius in tight spaces. Jeremy Doku is a brilliant one-on-one winger. Not great end product, but he does beat people and create space. Jack Grealish is a really talented wide playmaker. That's what I would call him. He's a wide playmaker. You can argue about that if you want to, but that's what he does for City. Rodri is a genius, best in the world, complete midfielder. Just as great going forward as he is defensively. Kevin De Bruyne is by far the most creative player in the history of the Premier League. The history of the Premier League. And Kyle Walker is a one-man transition machine at its best. But Kyle Walker, we didn't miss him today, but either way, 6 high-quality players there that would be useful in some ways. So we've got on the pitch today, when you're playing against a low block, everyone plays against the low block with a low block against City, apart from 1 or 2 teams. You have to have essentially genius. The only way to break the ways to break a low block are long range shooting, electric dribbling out wide, like intense genius in the pockets, like real level genius, or world class crossing. We actually got a goal today from good crossing from Nunes. And actually, to be fair, second half saw a lot of really good crosses that Haaland should have scored from. Savinho in particular. I think Savinho, was it twice that Savinho picked out Haaland? Savinho picked him out for the tapping with his foot when he put it wide. And someone else picked him out for the header across the back. Savinho did his job today, by the way. He more than did his job. 5 key passes. He should have had, he should have had an assist. This is one of those things where, like, Savinho did his job today with crosses. But the one thing we do lack, so we talk about the ways to break it down. Long-range shots, look, we've got Phil Foden, but he didn't get on the ball very much. Vardiel. We missed De Bruyne and Rodri there. Rodri's a genius in front of the defence. He is. Rodri plays those diagonal passes over the defence. Like those floated ones, the back post to the runner. It's always the Kyle Walker or Rico Lewis, someone like that. We just don't do that now because we haven't got anyone who can do it. So we don't have that. Nicholas in the chat saying Ruben sings he wants daddy cuddles. He's more than welcome to come up. Oh, no, maybe don't then. He's not coming up. He's had a poo. I'll be down in a minute, mate. Give me 10 minutes. Sorry, just shouting to my son there. Love you, Ruben. I just tell my son I love him. And I love Ruben Diaz too, great player. So basically, when we haven't got the long-range shots from outside. We haven't got De Bruyne and Rodri there. When we talk about crossing, the best crosser in the world is probably Kevin De Bruyne. You talk about genius passes out of nowhere, it's Kevin De Bruyne. When you talk about great dribblers, I don't think we have great dribblers with great end product yet. I think Savinho's going to be brilliant, but Savinho's still very much like a talent. He's not like a finished product yet. I don't think he's Mahrez level yet, for example. Harder working than Mahrez, but he's got so much ability, but I still think he's got a way to go a little bit there, and that's not criticism. Basically, what I'm getting at is I think we're lacking a bit of a genius. That I think, we look in the spaces. Foden doesn't get the ball enough to do the 1-2s around with other people. Gundogan's not quite found his rhythm yet. And I think our best in the spaces then are probably Oscar Bob, and he's not on the pitch. He's not available right now. We haven't got a David Silva, who's a genius in those tight spaces at dictating play. We haven't got De Bruyne, who's a genius playmaker. We haven't got Mahrez, who can jink past 2 or 3 people and curl it in the top corner. We haven't got that. We haven't got Sterling, who would cause so much trouble, and he did. Or Sane with his electric pace and end product, So as much as we talk about people like Doku, he's a good player. He ain't Sane out wide on the left. He isn't. Or Sterling at his best. He isn't that either. So this isn't a complaint. I guess the point I'm saying is that we haven't got world-class wingers. One of them, I think, Savinho could be. I don't think Grealish is a world-class winger. I don't think Doku is. And we don't have currently world-class passers in the side, I would argue, either, in this collection of players. I don't think there's one person on that pitch there that's a world-class passer, creatively. Foden isn't a De Bruyne level or Foden level through ball person, I would argue. Bernardo isn't, Nunes isn't, Haaland, Savinho, Kovacic. So I'm not criticising them all. I'm saying we've got a bunch of very good players, but I don't think the reason that City batter these teams usually and going to win a treble is because we've had genius killers. So what I'm saying is that today is essentially, I feel, as good as we can get from this collection of players. That's why I'm not really having a go at him, because there's too much quality off the pitch and in the stands. There's just too much quality. So I think we have to be realistic about our expectations right now, and I'm fine. I think the work rate is good. I think the players worked really hard. I mean, look at that collection of players. Kovacic's work rate was good defensively. He was all over the pitch getting back. I think Phil had a nice little game. I thought Josko got forward well. Rico was buzzing about. Akanji and Diaz swept up most things. He had a couple of counter-attacks. They had one big chance where they probably should have scored. Cameron Archer hitting the crossbar. I mean, that was a Ruben Diaz misjudgment, if I'm being honest. He dived in when he probably shouldn't have. They didn't threaten much. They really didn't. And I do feel like we should have won that comfortably. Like, Haaland had plenty of chances. I know a lot of you guys aren't XG people, but I use it to ally with the eye test. And the XG said 2.73, which by the quality of the chances, I would have said about 3 goals would have been about right. Haaland in particular probably had multiple. Like, Haaland... Well, his XG was 2.16, so he should have scored at least 2 today. The reason, like, you don't score every chance, and we've seen one big chance, one big chance is probably normal, but I expected to take one of the two, and 2-3-0 would have been a lot more, reasonable. But it was a clean sheet. It was a clean sheet. I definitely want more from Phil. I know he had a statistically good game there, and he kept the ball really nicely, but there's one moment where Phil got the ball, and he ran towards the goal, and he did a little jinking turn. I want more of that. Get a bit deeper, Phil. Demand the ball. Try and be the one to make things happen. Play with a little bit of aggression, a bit of arrogance. And it feels like he's waiting for the ball on the edge of the area right now to turn and get a shot away. And I want to see him get the ball, dart past someone. You know, like what Oscar Bob does, because Phil can do that too. Dart past someone and then play a 1-2 and burst into the area. His goal last midweek, and he tried it at one point, I know it's hard. There's no space. But it's hard. It's very hard, but then genius does that for you. So, look, I'm not disappointed with that. I'm not going to tell you it was brilliant, but I think it was fine, It was a 6 out of 10 performance to me, a good performance. I don't think it was bad. I don't think it was great. I don't think it was average. I think it was good. I think given everything, I think City did their job well. I think they were diligent. I think they kept working. I think they kept pressing. And actually, for being honest, like, even though I do think we lack a couple of skill sets without certain players, I think our crossing in the second half got much better, and we put it on the plate for Haaland a number of times. So it should have been quite comfortable. And Haaland, of course, who played Haaland in for the end, for the chance? Was it Foden? Is it Foden who put Haaland through where he tried to dink it over the keeper? Look, yeah. We should have been enough. I thought the balance was decent today. And another day, that's a comfortable victory. It is just Southampton, but you can only beat what's in front of you. I do miss having world-class wingers. Like, when I look around, I look around and I look at other teams, and I feel like, I think Doku, my feeling of Doku is he's a good winger. World-class wingers have end product. And Doku doesn't currently have... He's a great dribbler, but he's not, like, world-class with his product. I actually think Savinho's on his way to be world-class, but he's not there yet. He's 20 years old, and I think that will just take 2 or 3 years. He'll get there. He'll be world-class, but he isn't yet. I don't think Grealish is a world-class winger. I think he's a very good player. I don't think Nunes is. Like, Nunes got the assist today, by the way, and fair fucking play to him. Once again, good contribution. I still don't think he's a world-class winger. I don't think he is, He did his best today, and he created a couple of chances. He's got the created assist, but he's not, like, if that was like a Champions League high-level game, he'd do a job there, but the levels are Vinny Jr., Salah, people like that. Look what Rafinha doing for Barcelona right now. So I wouldn't mind that, Maybe Savinho will get there in time. But don't be surprised if City do go in for another winger one day, or Oscar Bob starts to look a spot down if he gets in the team and we see him on the right and Savinho goes on the left, because those two I think have the potential to be world class. That's how I feel. I'm not sure the others do. And I think we do lack De Bruyne and Rodri. Not crying, not complaining. I just think it's a matter of fact, Is what it is. I'm not asking for too much, mate. These are the levels I'm on about. He's a decent squad player, but that's all he's ever going to be. And ultimately, we've got an aging midfield, so you hope usually the younger ones behind him step up into it, because they've been here for a couple of years at that point. I don't think he's going to, unfortunately. I don't think Nunes will do. I think we're going to need... Ultimately, the level of our midfielders over the years has been David Silva, Bernardo Silva at his very best, 3 or 4 years ago, Gundogan, Yaya Toure, Kevin De Bruyne, Fernandinho, Rodri. The levels of Manchester City midfielders are world class. That's what makes a great Manchester City side, world class midfielders. We need players who can be that. I don't think Kovacic is world class. I don't think Nunes is ever going to be world class personally as a midfielder. Might be wrong there. I'm happy to be wrong, but I don't think he's going to be. Bernardo is not quite the high level he was 3 years ago. He's very good, don't get me wrong, but I think Bernardo he's definitely dulled a little bit. He could get by, like, he's only 30. Phil is a brilliant attacking midfielder, but I want to see him take control of the game a little bit more, Phil. I want to see him, and maybe that's not his game, but I want to see those touches there, 71 accurate passes. I want that to be 100 touches, and I want him to be getting 70 passes, and Nunes is better than Foden at the moment. Well, he's playing a very different role, I would argue. He's getting the ball and putting a cross in. But Phil's not telling you Phil's setting the world light. I was just talking about it. But Phil's the PFA Player of the Year, so we know the ability that he's got, you know. Yeah, I think he's a... Well, to be honest, mate, you're right that he's a decent squad player, but he's 50 million quid. That's what I'm saying. So he was bought... The players we bought were to take over from the next guys, you know, to provide Rodri with a rest, you would argue. And, you know, like, previously we had Bernardo Silva and Gundogan on the bench behind De Bruyne, David Silva, and then we had Fernandinho and Rodri as well. They were the levels, mate. They were the levels. And that's the levels I'm on about. Like, we used to rotate De Bruyne and David Silva with Bernardo Silva, Ilkay Gundogan, and we had Rodri and Fernandinho at the same time. So that's what I'm trying to get at. I just don't think we have that quality right now, especially without these players available. So I think we've... I'm not digging out Nunes here, by the way. I'm not at all. I don't think he's done anything wrong. I really am not. I just think the squad looks a little bit short, right? Well, it's short because of injuries. Where it is, it's fine. It's fine. I thought Bernardo was good, by the way. I thought his work rate was really good as always. So none of this is a complaint. I just feel, I look at the team right now and I look at this players missing. You can feel it. You can really feel it. I think you can feel, Bernardo's not getting any rest, is he? You can feel the lack of quality there. And yeah, it is what it is. Ultimately, I'm happy with that performance. I think we did a good enough job. Yeah, it's okay. The crossing was decent. And we played well. City will now go over 2 years without defeat at home, by the way. I've run 52 matches unbeaten. We've not lost a game in 2 years at home. 52 matches unbeaten. Bloody hell, man. We are so blessed, aren't we? We are so blessed. That's an absurd record. Guys, please give the video a like. It's massively appreciated. It'd be really appreciated if you don't mind. Help support the channel. Give the video a like as well. Subscribe as well if you're new here. Yeah, we got 3 points, and I'm very happy about it. The academy players, in terms of the bench, Guardiola's very much a believer that you don't get on the bench unless you deserve to be. So Guardiola doesn't hand out free spots. He only puts you on the bench if he feels like you've earned it in training and if you can contribute something on the pitch if you're there. I can only presume he doesn't feel anyone has done. And that's all it is to that. I feel like as well, while he's got 5 outfield players that would go ahead of them, he's not going to put academy players on the bench. If we get one more injury, he might do next week. But for now, Guardiola does that. He's conservative that way. And ultimately, you can only make 5 subs anyway, so it doesn't really matter in a game like this. You know, you might just choose the others. I wish he did, but I guess it wouldn't matter. They wouldn't have got on the pitch day anyway, you know, so it is what it is. And guys, we won the 3 points. We are unbeaten still, despite all those injuries. We're doing really fucking well, I would argue. And I actually thought we played pretty well today, you know. Look at that. 7 wins, you know, 2 draws. Come on, Arsenal, Liverpool. Bore this shit out of us tomorrow. 0-0. Red cards, injuries, a lot. In a bit, guys. Thanks for watching. See you for 5 things learned tomorrow. Bye-bye.